Welcome to a brand new series called I Didn't Know Blender Could Do That. Thing 1. Proportional editing is great, and I think this random mode here is really underused. You can use it to really quickly make like a hilly terrain, or you can use it to really quickly randomize the positions and rotations of a bunch of objects you intend to drop on the floor or something using rigid body sims. It's pretty cool. You gotta try it. Thing 2. If you use the free add-on paint system available on the Blender extensions platform and go into the normal painting section here and bake an object normal map using that add-on, you can very quickly generate a painterly effect for that object in a few seconds. No need for manually painting the normals yourself. Isn't that handy? Thing 3, which is a segment I like to call I've seen this thing in Blender, but don't really know what it does. Today, we're talking about this pixel filter field here. When Blender renders a picture, it builds it out of tiny little squares called pixels. But curves and diagonal lines don't fit perfectly into squares, so the edges look jagged, kinda like stairs. The pixel filter is Blender's way of deciding how to smooth those jagged edges out by blending neighboring pixels together. If you choose box here, no smoothing happens. If you choose Gaussian, the center pixel keeps most of its color, but it shares a little bit with the pixels around it as well. This gives you a softer, smoother edge in your renders. Blackman-Harris is like Gaussian, but it's way more precise. It makes sure the blending fades out very gradually and evenly. And the filter size number, that controls how far the smearing spreads. Think of it like this. A small number like 1, you'll get tiny smears and edges stay sharp and crisp. A big number like 3, you'll get wider smears and edges get soft and blurry. 1.5 pixel is a great default value, but I would suggest you try 1 pixel and 3 pixel as well, just to see which output you like more. Let's go to thing number 4 now. Did you know now with Blender 5.1, you can copy and paste any node setups in between blend files by just pressing Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V. You can copy shader nodes, compositing nodes, geonodes, any node setups you want. You don't have to do all of that append crap anymore that we used to do. Anyway, thing number 5, which is a segment I'm calling Upcoming Blender Updates. That seemed kinda exciting. So in Blender 5.2, we might finally have a fix to all the light leaking issues we have encountered in Blender's Eevee render engine since its release. Cartesian Caramel here put this post on X showing the difference in the output. Isn't that cool? You should definitely follow him if you don't already. Not only is he a very talented artist, he also keeps you updated on Blender stuff. Pretty cool. Anyway, here's thing number 6. You know how the look of a scene when using an HDRI is completely dependent on where the sun is in the HDRI? And you gotta go to the world tab and rotate the Z axis of the HDRI to turn the HDRI to find the perfect lighting angle? Well, if you use the free add-on Easy HDRI, you can just press Ctrl W and now you can rotate your HDRI right here in the viewport. Isn't that crazy? This saves me a bunch of time because I love using HDRIs in my scenes. Here's thing number 7 in a segment I'm calling 3D CGI VFX News of the Week. Cavalry and Autotroph are now both out, both free tools giving some serious contention to After Effects that has been on that throne for ages. I'm working on a tutorial for how we 3D artists can use them in our workflow. So definitely subscribe if you want to check it out when it drops. Here's thing number 8 in the meanwhile. With the release of the Light Painter add-on, you can now paint lights in Blender. Literally just grab a brush and paint lights in Blender. It's an insane add-on and it had a lot of bugs on release day, but now it's much more stable and you should definitely try it out. It's really, really cool. Alright, thing number 9 now. This segment is called You're Obsessed with Blender. Stop it. Here's a non-Blender tip. If you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, make sure you're using the studio drivers when using a tool like Blender or Resolve or Nuke or Unreal or Premiere Pro. Studio drivers are more optimized for tools like that. Switch back to the game drivers whenever you're playing games again. Thing number 10 now. This segment is called React and Recreate. I saw this cool little effect on Instagram a few days ago, and it's really easy to recreate. All you gotta do is plug an ambient occlusion node through a color ramp into an emission node. And that's it. Make the render black and white and add some bloom in it and sensor noise and chromatic aberration, and you have got yourself a nice and grungy black and white style for your next project. I do this segment on my Patreon a lot lately where I find cool looking art on the internet and I try to learn how I would make them in Blender. If you're interested, link is in the description. Alright, here we go. Thing number 11. In a segment I like to call, Is That How That Works? Where I explain things that you use daily in your 3D workflow but probably don't know how it works. Today we are covering ambient occlusion. Did you know ambient occlusion literally just answers one question? How much sky can a particular spot see in your 3D scene? A point on a wide open field sees the whole sky, hence it's super bright. And a point crammed in a tight corner can barely see any sky, hence it's super dark. That's it. The computer fires tiny invisible rays outward from each point in your scene and counts how many escape versus how many get blocked by nearby surfaces. That's why ambient occlusion is used to create contact shadows or dust collected in crevices or grunge and scratches on metallic surfaces. I love ambient occlusion. Alright, thing number 12 now. HDRIs are cool, but you know what's cooler? HDRI domes. And if you use the Polydome add-on, you can create like water puddles in your HDRI and add bump to your HDRI and get perfect contact shadows in your HDRI and even do box projection of interior HDRIs and so much more. It's crazy. Try it out. It's really insane. Alright, here's thing number 13. This segment's called, Hey, look at this cool little reel I found.
What are you doing later?
I don't know.
I do.
Do you?
I know exactly.
Oh.
Seriously? Seriously? You asked her out like that?
Yeah.
And that worked?
Yeah.
It's so dumb, but I always think you can only have one reference video for animation. But professional animators take references for anywhere they can find and compile it all together to make their animation the best they can. And I'm so dumb, I put this random limitation in my head that you can only use one angle and one reference only for animations. When you don't, obviously. This was a huge revelation for me. Sorry, it might not be for you, but it was for me. Anyway, moving on. Did you see the upcoming Forza Horizon trailer with that crazy train going across your screen in the reveal gameplay footage? That was so cool. I can't wait to not install the game on my computer and watch gameplays of people just driving around Japan in that game and not do a single race, which is the whole point of the game. I can't wait to do that. Also, what is this video now? We're just looking at game trailers? Actually, who cares? If you've made it this far, I don't think even you care, right? So here's the next segment. Here's a cool little concept art I saw on ArtStation a few days back. It looks so cool. The birds look so scary. The atmosphere is so cool. Imagine landing on an island and this is the first thing you see. That is scary. I don't know if it was made in Blender or not because the artist didn't mention it, but it was too cool to not share. Crazy stuff by Gabriel Nicastro. Check him out on ArtStation. Alright, since we have completely lost track of what this video was, here's the final little thing. Did you check out the Coyote vs. Acme movie trailer? It looks so cool. It brings back the Space Jam aesthetic into a cool new story and a cool new character that we have been following since we were kids. The Coyote sues the Acme company because their products won't work. That is such a cool concept. I can't wait to watch this film. Anyway, that's all I had to share in whatever this video has become. Now, subscribe so you can watch more of it in the future. Bye-bye.